I found a song that sings about truth. Actually, there's lots of songs that sing about truth. Welcome to the Find Your Soul show. This is Pip Coleman, and I am coming in today to continue our conversation about telling the truth, being a truthful being. How cute is that song? I know. I searched for songs about truth, and there was lots of cool songs. And one of them was the song by Lizzo, which is called "Truth Hurts." It's a rap, she's a rapper and a singer, and she's amazing. If you don't know Lizzo, she's incredible. And I was going to play that, but it's kind of got a lot of language in it that I thought might not be appropriate for that. It's a bit early in the morning. But this is this cute song. It's called "Moment of Truth." And it's by Sin, as in C-Y-N, from the movie Smallfoot. I don't know if you've seen the movie Smallfoot, but it's very cute. It's about a whole family or community of Yetis that meet a human, and he's the Smallfoot, and so it's that whole reverse thing about, you know, accepting people who are different to you, which I love. Those sorts of cartoons and movies. So much can be gained from watching a cartoon that's supposed to be for kids, and I love how the creators are now bringing in beautiful messages that are not just for the kids but also for the adults. Maybe that was what they always did and I just didn't notice it until now. Anyway, good morning. Good morning to you. We're going to continue our conversation about truth, and today we're going to talk a little bit about truth, the fact that you're already telling the truth. We sometimes think that we're that we're out of alignment and that we're not being fully honest, and we're kind of going through our life without actually really telling the truth. But in actual fact, I believe we are always telling the truth on some level. So and the reason why I believe that is because I don't think that we can hide who we truly are, even if we think that we're hiding it. So you might think that you're pretending to be, happy, but when you actually think about it, when you actually really look at, are you really being happy? You know how you meet somebody sometimes and they've got that sort of fake smile pasted on their face, and you go, there's something off about this person. They've got a smile, but there's something that doesn't quite, it doesn't quite marry. And so that person, even though they think that they are presenting themselves in a particular way, the truth is there. The truth is actually there in their body language, in their energy, in the way that they're being. Does that make sense? I think you get me. So what I'm saying is that I believe that we are always telling the truth, that we can't not tell the truth. What is the bit that's sort of the conscious part of it, the bit where we actually speak it out loud or write it down or take action on it, that's the conscious part. That's the conscious bit. But I think that with the readings that I've been doing, with the clients that I've coached, with my own journey, I've realized that you can't not be truthful. It's like, oh, I know what it's, I had this amazing, I've been watching Lucifer, the series, the Netflix series Lucifer, which is amazing, and because I love Tom Ellis. And one of the episodes, one of the characters is a celestial being that is in a human body, and she is filled with light. She's a celestial being, but she's really powerful, and so she starts to leak. She starts to leak light, And so she has she sort of bumps herself, and on her wrist, the light starts to come out of her. And so she has to put a Band-Aid on it. And then something happens and she gets like hurt, and the light comes out of her, and she has to like staple herself together so that the light stays in, because no matter how hard she tried, the light was coming out. And what Lucifer and the other characters worked out was that she couldn't stay on Earth in a human body because her light was getting stronger and stronger, and it was going to eventually just go and like come out. And not only would she disappear, but also she might harm other people in terms of, because she was celestial. So anyway, what I'm saying is that her true inner being was shining out. And even people would say to her, I see a light within you. Have you ever said that to somebody where you've gone, I see a light within you? Or you know how some people you'll say, oh, I just get a really good vibe from that person. Or I really like being around that person because they lift the energy of the room. And it's amazing because even people who are not spiritual, who are not who don't think that they're spiritual, who say they don't believe in energy, who say they don't believe in the other realms, will talk about people having a bad vibe or a good vibe, or I just didn't feel my gut said no, and these people are actually talking about energy. They're talking about spirit. They're talking about somebody's truth. Somebody's truth is being shown to you, but they might not be speaking it. They might not be, doing it in a really obvious way, but you can feel it and you can sense it. Yeah. So, yeah, that's right. Exactly, Kerry. Yeah, it's certain people do have that vibe, which is really cool. And the other direction too, where somebody has a vibe that's not good either, so we can tell the difference between someone who's telling the truth. That's why I love those sorts of shows, like the only reason why I watch those sorts of detective shows or, legal shows is because those people who are characters are really good at reading somebody's truth. So that's what I love about it, is that when somebody talks to you and they go, like a lawyer or a detective, I believe those people are actually truth seekers, that they are truth detectors. I used to call them lie detectors. My sister, I believe that both of my sisters are intuitive, but I believe that one of them is a bullshit detector. She hates people who lie. I mean, I'm not a fan either, but she really gets upset when people lie to her, because she can tell when someone's lying to her. She can tell because they'll speak words, but then their eyes will look like, that person's not really, or they'll smile, but their eyes won't smile, or their body language will show that they're actually not telling the truth. So I believe we tell the truth all the time. And the interesting thing is that I'm going to do a little meditation with you today from the fabulous Rebecca Campbell, who's an Australian author. This book's called Light is the New Black. I think I showed this to you before. But Rebecca Campbell has a fantastic little poem, I guess. It's sort of a poem or an incantation that she's put on page 78. And I'm going to read it. It's called You're Already Doing It. So I'm going to do it as a little meditation for you today to show that you're actually already being truthful. It's just a matter of practicing and putting yourself out there. So we're going to do that in a minute. But the other thing that I wanted to share with you is from a fabulous lady called Glennon Doyle. If you haven't read any of Glennon Doyle's stuff, she's amazing. This is her book Untamed. The Stop Pleasing and Start Living, it's called. Talk about poke you in the eye, poke you in the third eye and say, oh my God, yes. How many of us are doing lots and lots of pleasing and not living our truth, our true life? Yeah? You can give me a heart or a thumbs up if you're feeling that one. So one of the things that she talks about in her book is the concept of what is true and beautiful. So she gets people who tell their story to her to then share with her what is true and beautiful. And the reason why she gets people to share that is because she's trying to encourage you to look at not just the negative side of what's happening to you, but what's actually true and beautiful and about the situation, or what could be true and beautiful about the situation. So one of the ladies that wrote into her, she puts a little story here. She says that this woman, Sasha, wrote to tell me about her marriage. She married a guy who's distant and cold, just like her father had been, and Sasha spent most of her days hustling to earn her husband's love, just like her mum had done to earn her dad's. She wrote, "I'm tired and lonely. What's the right thing to do here?" And Glennon replied to this woman and said, "Sasha, can you tell me a story about the truest, most beautiful marriage you can imagine?" And then Sasha wrote back to her. So Sasha spent several evenings writing a story about the truest, most beautiful marriage she could imagine. She spent a week mustering the courage to send it to me because she was scared to let someone on the outside see what was on her inside. Do you see what I mean? The light. She was heartbroken when he didn't mention it. Eventually she printed the letter and she put it on her husband's pillow. And she was heartbroken when he didn't mention it for 3 weeks. Then one night she found an invitation from him asking her to go to a marriage retreat. They could both imagine something more beautiful, it turned out. They were trying to make it real. So what I love about that whole concept is to, instead of Glennon saying, "Oh, I feel so sorry for you. I'm so sad that you have, a bad marriage." She said, what is the truest, most beautiful marriage you could imagine? And let's see if he can imagine it too. Because if you don't give someone the opportunity to do that, and you don't give yourself the opportunity to do that, he might have said, "No, I don't see that. I don't see that vision. That doesn't resonate with me," in which case you can then make a choice about what you do next. But if the vision is the same, if you realize that you actually have visions that actually marry, then your truth can move forward. Does that make sense? I just really love that whole concept. I think it's great because it helps for you to reframe. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is read you another little bit because I love I love this book. Let me know if you get what I'm talking about. Like, obviously feel free to comment below if that makes sense to you. I'll read you another little story about another person who Glennon asked her to tell the truest story. So she says, when your imagination rises inside us, you have to thank it for finally consulting in all those years and telling us a story. So Claire wrote recently, and she's a lawyer and a daughter of an alcoholic. When she sat down to email me, she said she'd just woken up, still woozy from her nightly taking the edge off glasses of wine. She wrote that she spends most of her time numb or foggy or ashamed. "Glennon, I feel I'm wasting my life. What should I do?" And she wrote to Claire, "What is the truest, most beautiful story about your life you can imagine?" So Claire wrote a story about a woman who never abandoned herself, who faced life on life's terms and was present for herself, her people, and her life. She believed in that vision enough to begin therapy and to safely let rise to the surface all the pain she was trying to drown out with the wine. Months later, she wrote to say that her new way of being is harder than ever, but it's the right kind of hard. She's not missing her own life anymore. When she looks at herself in the mirror, she no longer needs to look away. She is now a woman who can look in her own eyes. And that's another type of truth, isn't it? You know, some people have trouble looking in the mirror. And, you know, that's why Louise Hay does all that wonderful mirror work where she gets you to stand in front of the mirror and say, I love you, Pip. I love you, Kerry. I love you, whoever else is watching today. I love you. And you say it to yourself, and then you honor and sit with the truth, because your inner being hears the truth. The truth is that you are loved and you are protected, and that you are eternal, and you are a being that goes on and on and on, and you are a soul. You are a divine being. That's the truth. That's the ultimate truth. And all of the stuff that happens in our lives, all of the things that we say to ourselves, all of the stuff that the ego brings up and says, you know, that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy, that we're not deserving, all of those things that we say are not the truth. And the reason why you can tell that it's not the truth is because you feel shit when you say it to yourself. Do you get what I'm saying there? So when you feel crap, when you feel horrible after you've said something to yourself, you know that that's not the truth, because the truth doesn't feel bad. The truth feels good. The truth about yourself feels good. And even if you think that you've done things wrong, you know, I have clients come to me and say, I've done something wrong, you know, I've done something really bad and I'm a bad person. I've done, you know, I've cheated on my husband, or I've wife, you know, whatever. I've stolen something. I've, you know, hurt somebody's feelings. I've, you know, done something really bad. I'm a bad person. And I will say to them, you aren't a bad person. You've just made some choices that from your place of where you are right now, you felt that was the only option. And you made that choice in that moment. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person. So we need to separate, you know, from the behavior, the action, and who you actually are, you know, because we can get too identified, you know, with that. Yeah, Kerry, that's great. So you get where I'm coming from. So if you're getting what I'm saying, you know, feel free to press the little heart button and let me know. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on what I'm saying, because I know you're watching out there. So, and sometimes it can be a bit confronting when someone's talking about telling the truth, being honest. So I totally understand. I get it. It can be a little bit scary, and that's something that we need to remember, that we have support. You have support. There's people in this community, in your world, in your space, that could support you. If you want to share your truth, if you want to practice sharing your truth, then you need to reach out and ask someone that you feel you trust, that you can share your truth with. So those lovely ladies who wrote to Glennon Doyle in her book Untamed, they were reaching out to her because they felt that they trusted her and that it was safe to do that. So if you need to reach out, then please do reach out. So if you're ready, let's do a little meditation around the concept that you are already doing it, that you are already being truthful, and that you can step more into that honesty. You can step more into that. So all I'm going to ask you to do is close your eyes. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. But if you pull over to the side of the road and then close your eyes. And I'm going to take you through this little meditation, incantation of being truthful from Rebecca Campbell's book, Light is the New Black. So let's take a few deep centering breaths. So breathing in through the nose, settling back into your chair, and breathing out. And breathing in through the nose. And breathing out. And just feeling yourself here in this space at this time. Right here and now. Just be with me for this 5 minutes or so. Taking another deep breath in through the nose. And breathing out. And if you wish, you can tap. If you want to tap along, you can do that. Do this as a tapping meditation as well, or you can just listen and take in, absorb the beautiful words. Here you are. You are already doing it. The person you are trying to let go of, that heartbreak that feels too big to bear, you're already doing it, and you are closer than you think. Take a breath. The sadness that weighs on your shoulders, the heaviness that sits like an elephant on your chest. Breathe, breathe. Breath by breath, you are moving through it, and you are closer than you think. Take another breath. The person you are praying to forgive, that grief you are desperate to release, you're already doing it, and you're closer than you think. Take a breath. The person you admire, the woman you long to become, you are her, and she is you. You are closer than you think. Take a breath. The vision you are striving towards, that dream that feels out of reach, you're already doing it, and you are closer than you think. Take a breath. Let the words sink in. The end will be unrecognizable from the picture in your head, but you'll know it when you get there by the way that you feel in your skin. Take another breath. Put your hand on your heart. Feel the words sink in. You're already doing it. You are closer than you think. I am already doing it. I am closer than I think. I am already telling the truth. I am closer than I think. When you're ready, wiggling your fingers and toes, taking a moment to come back into the space where you started this meditation, this honoring of yourself, this reminding that you are already doing it and that you are closer than you think. So, how do you feel? Let me know in the comments. Excuse me while I drink my chai. It's just you and me. So there's something in that really resonated with me. That's great, Kerry. I love it. You feel at ease. That's awesome. Thanks, Angela. Ooh, your heart is vibrating. That's fantastic. Ah, Miss Mary. That's lovely. Bliss. Isn't that what we want, you know? Isn't that all of those lovely things? We want to feel at ease. We want to vibrate and move through the world from our heart space. We want to be blissful. I love it. I love that. I could really feel you all with me then. When I was speaking those words, I could feel the energy of all of you who are watching this video here with me, and there's only a few times when you can really get tapped into that. And that's when you're in a community like this, where people are resonating on the same level. So you're in the right place. Well done. That's fantastic. And I love that you've joined me today, because this is a really important moment for you to honor and know that you are doing this journey. You're already on your way. You're closer than you think. And when we can remind ourselves of that, we're closer to being the divine being that we're supposed to be. So that's what all those beautiful feelings are that you're having right now, which is awesome. So I'm going to share with you just really quickly before I finish up that as of this week, enrollments for my new coaching program, well, it's actually not a new coaching program, it's a redefined coaching program, reimagined. The Divine Alignment Code has been launched, and you can now enroll in that and get reconnected with your divine aligned self by coming on board and enrolling in the coaching program, which I'm very excited about. If you'd like to work with me, if you really resonate with my way of doing things, if you've been watching Find Your Soul show and you feel like you'd like to do more one-on-one tailored coaching with me, then I would love to talk to you. If you book in a chat with me, a 30-minute chat, if you're part of our wellness community, you may not have seen the live that I did with Michelle yesterday, but I'm offering a special to just the Our Wellness community ladies and gents. So if you book a chat with me, you will actually get a free 30-minute intuitive card reading, as well as our chat, to kind of see whether we resonate and whether I can actually help you, whether the coaching program is right for you, whether it feels right. And if you enroll in the Divine Alignment Code, then you actually will receive a $100 voucher that you can use on any of my other services going forward, which is very exciting. So if you are wanting to realign, reconnect, feel at ease, vibrate from your heart space, always feel that bliss, then maybe it's time for you to book a chat. So you can send me a PM or write to me at pipcoleman@yahoo.com.au. And I would love to work with you, play with you, realign with you. That would be amazing. We always have fun on this show. As I say, this month was all about being a truthful being, telling the truth. And so next week is our last week of May already. It's gone so fast. So we're going to talk a little bit more about truth next week. We're going to talk about telling the truth to others. That's a big one. So we've been focusing mostly on telling the truth to ourselves, and last week we talked about the shadow side. So if you didn't see the video last week, you can go back and search for the Find Your Soul show, and you can watch the one about the questions to tap into the shadow, which is quite an interesting process. It can go quite deep. Next week we'll talk about let's be truthful. Let's start telling the truth to other people, because once you know what your truth is, that's what you got to do first, is know your truth, and then you can talk to others about it and about how, and set those boundaries, which is really important. So have a lovely week. I will see you again on Thursday next week at 9 o'clock. It was gorgeous, lovely. Thank you so much, those of you who joined me live. I felt your energy, and I hope that you all felt each other's energy too, because that was really beautiful. I look forward to seeing you soon. If you would like a copy of the words that we did today, you can obviously listen to the video again, but if you want the copy of the words, it's from Light is the New Black, Rebecca Campbell, that's the book, and it was on page 78 that we did. But if you'd like a copy, I can take a photograph of the page and I can send it to you. So send me a message, and I look forward to talking to you very, very soon. My name's Pip Coleman, and have a fantastic week. Bye for now.